Welcome back, everybody. It's your buddy Orange Hat here to bring you some more entertainment news. So, I covered the Gina Carano filing a lawsuit against Disney and then Disney firing back, citing First Amendment defense. Well, a new chapter has been written in this whole book of Carano versus Disney, and I'm here to bring it to you. So, apparently, a judge rejects Disney's motion to dismiss the Carano's wrongful termination lawsuit. Says the House of Mouse failed to set forth an impenetrable defense under the First Amendment. So, we're going to get into this, but before we do, if you like my channel and want to support my channel, best way to do is subscribe, and I'm trying to get the 2,000 subs before the end of the year, 2,025 subs to be specific. If I can get to 2025 by 2025, that is the goal. Sharing my content out helps support the channel the most, so it's basically like, shares, and subscribe, folks. So let's get into this. In a major win for the former Star Wars actress, legal action against the House of Mouse, I will say interpretation of Star Wars instead of Star Wars actress. No offense to Gina. She was good in that show. However, it wasn't Star Wars. The judge overseeing the case has finally denied Disney's previous motion to dismiss the wrongful termination lawsuit filed against them by Gina Carano. As previously reported in February, Carano, with financial assistance from Tesla CEO Elon Musk, filed suit against Disney, accusing them of not only unlawfully terminating her from her role as Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, due to nothing more than the company's overall disagreement with her personal political opinions, but also treating her male co-workers, namely Pedro Pascal, less harshly in regards to their political speech and defaming her in the eyes of the public. Well, there's also Mark Hamill and many of the people who work at Disney that are behind-the-scenes kind of folks. I mean, I could cover a lot of stuff from the past years, folks. Anyway, Disney's harassment, retaliation, and termination of plaintiff and refusal to hire her for promised roles were intended to cause injury to Carano, amounted to despicable conduct undertaken with willful and conscious disregard for plaintiff's rights under California law, amounted to despicable conduct that subjected Carano to cruel and unjust hardship in conscious disregard of her rights, thus supporting punitive damages, due to nothing more than the company's overall disagreement with her personal political opinions, but in doing so, also defaming her in the eyes of the public, argued the actress's legal team. In response, Disney sought to have the case dismissed on the grounds that, in their opinion, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution provides them with the right to dissociate its own artistic message from Carano's outspoken political beliefs. There's a thing called civil rights, folks. You cannot discriminate on the basis of sex, religion, or personal beliefs. Political outlook falls under personal beliefs. So, Disney has a constitutional right not only to, or not to associate expression with Carano's speech, such as the First Amendment provides a complete defense to Carano's claims. And the House of Mouse, or said the House of Mouse, Carano's claims are all barred by the First Amendment. The First Amendment does not bar speech. It embraces and allows all speech, including the speech you don't like. As the Supreme Court held in Hurley versus Irish American Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual Group of Boston, the First Amendment embodies the core principle of speaker autonomy that bars the state from dictating to expressive enterprises what to say, how to say it, and whom to say it through. As the court further held in Boy Scouts of America versus Dale, the principle means that a state cannot force an employer engaged in speech to speak through an employee whose views or public profile could compromise the employer's own message, even if the employee does not express her views on the job. That's not what happened. So yes, to this end, Disney then affirmed, state law can protect employee political activity without violating the employer's free speech rights. This quotation being cited from a 2012 paper by UCLA law professor and constitutional attorney Eugene Volokh. I believe that guy was discredited too, but I could be wrong. Which state law cannot do, however, is force entities to create speech products to speak through writers or singers or actors whose own speech and profile could, in the employer's view, compromise the employer's ability to express itself in its own chosen manner. So, you're saying that Disney does not believe that people should not turn on their own neighbors? You want people to turn on their own neighbors, turn them into the government for being something simply a little bit different than yourselves? Is that what you're saying, Disney? Wow. You guys are evil. Almost, you are like 1940s Germany evil. Carano's suit contravenes that rule, and it is an impermissible effort to invoke state power to override a private entity's decision about what to say in its own art and how to say it. She's not saying you have to say it in your products. She's not saying you have to say it in your movies or shows. She's simply saying, you violated my right to speak freely. The complaint should be dismissed. However, it turns out Disney's argument ultimately fell flat, as their petition to dismiss has now been fully denied. Now, there was a thing earlier, folks, where somebody reported a little, what's the word? I forget, but rather, they kind of blew their load a little too early, shall we say, by jumping the gun. I think it was the Daily Wire that did it, yeah. The Daily Wire reported too early that the judge ruled when they hadn't. And actually, Gina Carano had to set them straight. It's like, they didn't rule yet. As ruled by Los Angeles District Judge Sherilyn Pierce Garnett on July 24th, where an organization can claim, or where an organization claims protection under the First Amendment expressive associational right, a court must determine whether the group engages in expressive association. Here, although Disney has disputedly engaged in expressive activity, including but certainly not limited to producing and disseminating The Mandalorian, they have failed to establish that they engage in expressive association. Furthermore, at this stage in the litigation, the court cannot conclude, as defendants urge it to, that Carano continued employment by defendants would inhibit or intrude upon defendants' rights to express association. The defendants are not members-only nonprofit organizations, the judge continued. Instead, defendants are for-profit corporations who, as relevant to this lawsuit, employ actors such as plaintiff, as well as administrative staff to create television series and films. Defendants have not identified any evidence in the complaint or otherwise to substantiate a claim that may employ public-facing actors for the purpose of promoting the values of respect, decency, integrity, or inclusion said by the Honorable Judge Garrett. Accordingly, defendants' invocation of the supposedly detrimental effects of the plaintiff's mere presence as one of the defendant's employees lacks constitutional import. Now, I'm not a legal jargon person, so I'm not even going to try to translate that. In an initial matter, defendants' arguments focuses narrowly on their termination of the plaintiff without addressing her allegations concerning defendants' pre- and post-termination conduct, much of which lacks obvious or expressive or artistic import. Defendants affirm defense is for this reason alone, far from impenetrable. Following the lengthy deep dive into the specific case laws which factored into the decision, the Honorable Judge Garrett ultimately declared, the court thus denies motions insofar as it argues as their right to controlled speech bars plaintiffs' claims. In sum, the defendants have failed to set forth an impenetrable defense under the First Amendment. She concluded, accordingly, for the foregoing reason, the court denies defendant's motion. Now, with this ruling, it appears that the settlement between Disney and Carano, the latter's lawsuit, is now on the path of a full-on court trial. Notably, not only does this spell trouble for Disney on a legal and reputational level, but it also opens them up to the process of discovery. In other words, skeletons in Mickey's closet could soon be seeing their first glimpse of sunlight in a very long time. So yeah, folks, with this going forward, Disney is essentially going to get a wake-up call to reality. Snap back to reality, Disney. And guess what? Your skeletons aren't just going to be seeing daylight. They're going to come screaming out of the closet when when the legal team gets their hands on them. So, as of writing, Carano has yet to publicly address her latest legal victory. However, she has, since the writing, or after the writing, she has given her statement. The court denies the defendant's motion. I am moved to tears. After a brutal 3.5 years, I am being given the opportunity to move forward in the court of law before the judge and my peers to clear my name. I am so grateful for this opportunity. What happened to me is unacceptable, absurd, and abusive. Among other things, it should not have happened to me, and it should not have happened to anyone else moving forward. Let it stop here. I quite literally fought to get where I got to in my career, through intense ups and downs. Sorry for misreading a little bit, folks. And I'll keep up that fight to continue doing what I love. I appreciate all of you who stood by me and defended me, and I am so sorry that similar situations have happened to some of you. I want you to know that I see you and I stand with you. Thank you to Elon Musk, a man I have never even met, who so graciously gave me a fighting chance. That's because he posted, folks, back last year, that if anybody wants to sue their employer for firing them unjustly because of something they posted on X, he would cover the legal bills. And she qualified. So, thank you for standing for justice for all of humanity. May God bless you and your family for years to come, because he has chosen you for such a time as this. Below is an interview I did with Ben Shapiro 3.5 years ago, February 2021, at my lowest point. I was wounded and in so much pain, but I feel that pain lifting now. I pray for justice to shine through this case. It's been one heck of a life. I am looking forward to getting back to the art of storytelling and doing my part to help the world heal. Thank you all. I'm sure it will be quite a battle ahead, but God's giving me the ability to take some punches and give some back. My feet are on solid ground. Imagine what your voice can do. And let's listen to what she has to say here.
I read this somewhere. It's like, don't try to ruin my life with lies when your life can be ruined with the truth. And
best quote.
You got billion-dollar companies raining down on me from every different place. And do I really even need to say anything? Like, you're showing it. You're showing what you do to people. You're showing you don't give them a voice. You're showing you're not going to listen. You're not going to see a person past, what you read in a very skewed article. You're showing what bullies you are against one voice here. One. I'm that petrifying to these billion-dollar companies? Well, good. I hope I am. And I hope everybody else becomes that. I mean, this is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of one voice. Imagine.
Well,
She's not wrong, folks. If one voice can stand in the way of injustice and expose that injustice through injustice's own actions, just imagine what many others can do if they stood up against it. But yes, folks, that is all there is to this story here today. Good on Gina. I wish her well. I even replied to this. I believe it should be up here somewhere. Yeah. As I said, it is wonderful news, Gina. Hope your reputation will be cleared on a lawful record, and Disney will receive the wake-up call they so desperately need. They are not above the law. So, yeah. And then there's other people who are on our side as well. But yes, Disney, the House of Mouse, they're suffering because now their skeletons are going to be pulled out of the closet. Anyway, folks, that is going to be the video. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think Gina has a shot at knocking down the House of Mouse? Or do you think that there's going to be a settlement? What do you think? There's all sorts of different conclusions that this could take. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Support the channel by liking and sharing out the content. This has been Orange Hat. Y'all have a wonderful day, and always remember to stay humble. Peace.